A major update in the tariff refund fight. The judge set to oversee the process is now laying out the next steps. In an order that we just got, the judge has now ordered the Trump administration to go through all of the tariff entries that have been submitted over the last year to finalize that paperwork while removing all of the tariff charges that have now been invalidated by that 6-3 blockbuster decision at the Supreme Court. So, what does this mean for businesses hoping to get tariff refunds? You're not going to see that money wired to your bank account immediately. However, this new ruling here is a major milestone in this laborious refund fight. The Trump administration has been warning that this is still going to take time. They say even after these entries are finalized, it's a step you'll hear lawyers call liquidation. They say that they still need to make sure that these companies don't owe any other taxes or fees or other tariffs. And they say that they need a review period before actually sending that money out to companies' bank accounts. So still some time to go here. But meanwhile, the judge here in this case, the judge is an appointee of former President Clinton, Judge Eaton, who serves on the U.S. Court of International Trade. He has been signaling that he wants to move this process along. This new ruling came after a hearing held just yesterday, but already the judge has set a new session that's set to take place on Friday, where behind closed doors, he will hear from the government again, and he's expected to ask them more questions about what exactly they need in this back-end process and why they need time before actually getting that money out the door. And at least from the comments that we've heard from the judge so far, he seemingly thinks that this process really can move along quickly. So watch to see after that hearing. Won't be able to be in the courtroom with them. None of the public will. But we'll be watching after the hearing to see whether the judge issues any orders on the docket and whether he sets any firm deadlines for the Trump administration to get these refunds out. As we wait to get an update from the judge following that hearing, we are already seeing companies line up in court. More than 1,000 companies in total have filed lawsuits in the U.S. Court of International Trade seeking refunds. And this includes a lot of big brands affiliated with Costco, Toyota, Goodyear Tires, Yeti Coolers, even Crocs. This is a list that's frankly growing not only by the day, it's a list that we're seeing grow by the hour. Like I said, more than 1,000 companies now have filed lawsuits in total. But speaking to some of the major lawyers who have been working these cases following the Supreme Court's decision, what I'm hearing from a lot of them is they are saying that they are fighting for everyone here. And they've actually been telling companies that there's no need for most of them to file their own individual lawsuits. And they say that when this refund order eventually comes out, that they're going to be fighting for all of the companies that have paid these tariffs over the past year, expected to amount to tens of billions, if not more. So still a lot more to come. But as we go ahead, there's really 3 companies in particular among this growing list to watch and that we're watching here at the Hill. The first is the company that we got that order in just yesterday from the judge. This is in the case that was filed by Atmos. It's a Nashville-based filtration company. But 2 other big dockets to watch is there's actually the plaintiffs that were at the Supreme Court is a different group. It's led by the wine importer VOS Selections that's based in New York. They are pushing the trade court as well. And then finally, there's a third docket that we've had our eyes on as well, because before the Supreme Court's decision, a lot of these companies that had been lining up in lawsuits, the court had been consolidating them with an auto parts store in Muskegon, Michigan. It's called AGS Automotive. So those are the 3 companies that seem to be the key leaders right now, leading the charge on tariff refunds. That auto parts store in Michigan, the wine importer in New York, and now the new player coming into the scene is this filtration company in Nashville. But like I said, a lot of the lawyers involved here tell me that they are hoping to get refunds for everyone here. But meanwhile, so far, we've been talking about what this means for businesses. But what does this mean for consumers? Of course, when the businesses, if and when they do get refunds, it will be up to the businesses to determine what to do with those funding and whether they will pass them along to consumers. But already, customers are beginning to turn up the heat. We have begun to see the first class action lawsuits filed against companies, trying to get judges to order that if these companies do in fact get refunds, that they must pass them along. So the first big company that faced a lawsuit was FedEx by someone who said they shipped a package, was forced to pay an import fee, and now wants it back. FedEx, for its part, has pledged to give refunds back once it gets them. But meanwhile, it's not the only company starting to face the heat. Just this week, we have gotten a new lawsuit The maker of Ray-Bans was hit with one of these class action lawsuits, and you can expect that this is going to be a list that continues to grow as well. So a lot more action to come here for consumers, for businesses. And this is to say nothing of all the pressure on Capitol Hill that Democrats have been putting on the Trump administration to try to get refunds out directly to Americans. So still a lot more to come here in this tariff refund fight, but it is certainly moving along following that blockbuster Supreme Court decision. And for all of the latest updates on tariff news, you can stick with us. We will be covering it all at thehill.com. And if you really want to follow with us every twist and turn, you can sign up for our weekly newsletter called The Gavel, where we explore how the courts shape politics and how politics shape the courts. We will be following each and every twist and turn of this refund fight until it is done. Thanks for joining us.